ارقص عندما تكون محطما. ارقص إذا كنت قد نزعت الدمبة جراح. ارقص في وسط الصراع. ارقص بدمك. ارقص عندما تكون حرا طليقا.
I chose the name Hanan, inspired by the writing and the work of Moroccan feminist scholar Fatima Mernissi. Hanan means tenderness. So I wanted to infuse the world with tenderness and love through my work, and that's how I chose the name. My mission is to create work and opportunities that empower women and girls to look at the dance forms of North Africa, the Middle East, and the Caribbean as not just a literal form that has a technique, but also as a way to create metaphors for our lives that empower us and to point us to the past, but also to a creative feminist future. A creative feminist future, to me, looks like spaces where women and girls can design their identity based on images that come from within. So like belly dance as a solo improvisational art form, we learn in this art form to be prepared with all the knowledge of the technique that we have around music, rhythm, and musicality, but to allow all of that internal knowledge to then manifest and push itself outward into form. So we're in Morocco, traveling through the journey of my ancestry and my family to tell the origin story of Hanan and her Cuban melody. My commitment to practicing the art of belly dance is a diasporic commitment, which means that I am always looking at the point of origin, the country of origin, the people. Part of this commitment is very deep study of the cultures, the contexts that inform the movement practices in the nations of origin. Bodies travel like dances travel. Dance is a living, breathing monument. I'm looking at dance as a form of communication beyond borders, beyond language, and bringing women from all over the world into the same space and connecting through our bodies and through movement. One, it's important to respect the context and the cultures that we come from. Through the dance that I do, North African Beledi, it's important to always respect the countries of origin, the people of the nations of origin, create the opportunity in this space to transcend those borders and create new spaces of dialogue. Because I do belly dance, in the belly dance community worldwide, we're very concerned and afraid of this idea of cultural appropriation. And your work uses very strong imagery that has a contemporary effect on some traditional historical kind of spaces. So in your own practice, how have you negotiated what we might be fearful of in terms of representation and cultural appropriation in creating new aesthetic work?
You know, my body of work was really about the women of Morocco and trying to present the strength. And for me to get to that point, yes, remember there has to be trust with the women that I took pictures with. So it wasn't something doing it on a selfish way to show something is just exotic or playing around with this culture. I had to also protect this situation of my work, especially on the topic of women. Women strong without any culture or any religion anyway, from my point of view. I don't think it's a presentation of the women of Morocco as belly dance. It's one part that I think is travelled outside and then it's become a little bit more exotic, a lot more fantasy, that maybe they think that's every woman in North Africa, the other countries, when they dance, they do belly dance. But we have contemporary dance, we have other style of music like the Berbers dance that sometimes dance with to do with you know, when they do harvesting, it's like storytelling, like the carpets. You have Gnawa dance, you have, you know, there's so many different elements of movements that sometimes is a story part of the culture as well.
So I started taking pictures for a long time, and before I do contemporary dance, it was very difficult to do dance, especially women, but I challenged myself because I live with but I want to do some things different to find myself and to be free. I'm the first one in my family to do some things not acceptable in the family, to dancing and show my body in the stage.
Talking about women in art, the most important thing is to see them first of all as artists, not as women, because even when we use the term women artists, they're just artists, but they happen to be women. And the most important challenge is, first of all, to have the same representation in the art industry, even in terms of institution and in terms of creativity. So personally, for example, I'm really happy to be where I am, and I'm a woman, I'm a young woman, and I'm exhibition director at the museum. Is doing something very meaningful on the continent. I realize since I'm here and even before, I receive sometimes questions from young women asking me, how did you get there? And it's really, I mean, I've been empowered by other women as well, and I would love to empower myself. And if I can give maybe some hope or inspiration to a young woman, for me, I've done my work.
Transnational feminism is the cornerstone of my work, and we can't look at transnational feminism without thinking about intersectional feminism. So intersectional feminism is a feminism that looks very closely at race and class and doesn't separate how those factors influence gender and, you know, the feminist position. Transnational feminism takes another step, looking at different cultures and women and their borders, and respecting the difference that exists within women's contexts around the world, but finding ways to intersect in both similarities while respecting those differences and transcending those borders into new spaces.
I like the movement Because when I was young, we have a house and we have neighbors, and women's neighbors, she dancing very good belly dance. And all women, when a man go to the work, they close the door and they put the music and they start to dancing, and she danced very good. And I said, I want to learn how I can dance a belly dancer. Because I love how they use the hands and fingers.
That is a point of departure in my work. Dance always brings us back to the body. So no matter the theories that we want to bring into the work, starting with the rhythm, starting with the body, women from all over the world, different cultures across language, can communicate and can transcend and create. My mission is to create work and opportunities that empower women and girls to look at the dance forms of North Africa, the Middle East, and the Caribbean as not just a literal form that has a technique, but also as a way to create metaphors for our lives that empower us and to point us to the past, but also to a creative feminist future.
أشتوك يلا عطار يلا عطار ويلي ويلي ويلا غربار يلا عطار أشتوك يلا عطار يلا عطار ويلي ويلي ويلا غربار